We're about a year removed from the height of Helldivers 2, overtaking the gaming space, crashing servers when you had over 250,000 people trying to play the game upon release, and it was a phenomenon for a short period of time, and then some very interesting decisions by Sony, and then some very interesting maneuvers by community managers led to a bit of a drop-off. There was a bit of a resurgence towards the end of the year with new updates that the community actually wanted, instead of some very interesting changes that nobody wanted. And as it sits right now, it's not doing too bad. It's really not doing too bad after the release of that new expansion. Generally speaking, people seem to like it. Over this past weekend, 67,000 people checking it out, 51,000 people currently at time of recording playing it. So yeah, hey, things look to be turning around a little bit. So the director, who has been a reasonably based guy, it's just been everybody else around the project who has been the problem, comes out with a pretty boilerplate stance on things, where I like the fact that more people are speaking up, but now that everyone else has been saying this stuff for a while, now that they have been the ones to test the pool water to make sure that it's nice and warm, now more people are starting to dive in. So yeah, you're starting to roll your eyes a little bit more when you're seeing people going, oh, actually, I was always against this stuff, and actually, I always thought it was bad. It's like, yeah, cool, fantastic. You want to claim all of this faulty valor? Yeah, you go for it. But Helldivers 2 director slams DEI in gaming. Make good games, not political statements. I agree with you. And that's the thing about Helldivers 2. That's another thing that gave it some staying power in the beginning, because there were some activists that were trying to weasel their way in. Oh, you have all of these capes. You have everything that you want on the back of them. Okay, you got all of these fictitious nations. I want a trans flag. And he's like, nah, we're not doing any of that political stuff. And they would off there into the distance, and people went, based, not bending the knee to that agenda. Fantastic stuff. I don't know if that necessarily grew the player base, but it definitely didn't diminish it when that happened at the time. Telling those freaks that never, ever, ever help out the long-term health of a project to just stay over there, that's the best thing that they could possibly do. Now, if you could also just take that same type of care when it comes to hiring community managers, well, you wouldn't have gone through that tremendous dip that you did over the past 6 months, because yeah, you got that year, and oh boy, was that valley there, and only recently are you starting to recover when you take a look at other games that were dominating 2024. I mean, just take a look. You got Pal World out here, okay, he's still getting 6 digits. I've got to get around to this, because I actually picked this game up back when they were going through all their crap in the beginning, and now that they're fighting that lawsuit against the Nintendo, I got to get in there and play that game. But anyways, a move that has ignited conversations across the gaming industry. Johan Pilestedt, the creative director behind Helldivers 2, has taken a firm stance against incorporating diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives into games when they detract from a player experience. His comments come amidst a broader industry debate over the role of social and political themes in game development, which I'm going to go ahead and have a very controversial opinion on this. Hey guys, I don't think any of that stuff needs to be in there. No, I'm just joking a little bit, because if you want to have social or political themes in your games, as long as you do it right, a deft hand and a creative mind can definitely navigate those complex issues. Hell, some of the best games of all time have political or divisive themes in them. It's just, when it comes to modern day bullshit, yeah, you're never going to win with that, because it's just such a non-starter. We're responding to fan suggestions on X, never add DEI to your games. Pilstead candidly replied, if it doesn't add to the game's experience, it detracts. Exactly, and that speaks to more than just simply DEI initiatives. If it doesn't add to your game's experience, it detracts. It really harkens back to the whole the Dark Souls debate whenever that comes out. This could seem totally disconnected, but just allow me to continue for a second. Whenever you have all of those games journos come out and say that X new FromSoft game needs an easy mode, well, that would detract. If they were to put in an easy mode, that would detract from the way that they craft their games to begin with. Now, if they would make a functioning camera mode, things could be a little bit different. But no, if it isn't within the purview of the developers, if this isn't their vision for the game that they're creating, slapping something on top of it is unnecessary and takes away from the core experience. And games should be a pure pursuit of amazing moments. Yeah, I guess that's like the most base way that you can assess games, whether that's fulfillment through a story, whether that's satisfying gameplay. Yeah, no, I think that's a sufficient description of what you would want out of a compelling game. Pilestedt's philosophy centers on prioritizing player immersion and enjoyment over adherence to external political or social narratives. Yeah, I don't like labels, but mankind is united in extreme xenophobia on super Earth inclusion, so maybe that's DEI. I really don't care. Make good games. Don't make a contemporary political statement. There you go. That's what I like to see. That's a positive take on things. These remarks have drawn both praise and criticism, with some gamers applauding his focus on quality gameplay, while others argue the importance of representation in modern media. Show me one example of where it works. You can't. It never does. The Helldivers franchise, known for its satirical depiction of intergalactic warfare and humanity's unrelenting expansionism, is inherently political, though Pilestedt's comments suggest he believes such themes should serve the narrative rather than contemporary agendas. Industry veteran Grums, who previously, led the World of Warcraft team, weighed in on Pilestedt's statements. He pointed out the gaming community's resistance to overtly political content in games in gaining traction. But we'll come back to what Grums has pointed out recently, because I think it's also very important to look at the other side of this as well. Since Helldivers 2 launched in early 2024, the game has been a contentious battleground between the two opposing forces of the gamer culture war. Controversies erupted back in the spring when segments of the audience were demanding cosmetic capes to be added to the game featuring ideologically driven flags. The game also has issues with community managers banning players from the Helldivers 2 Discord server for using the vomit emoji when they felt what they felt were inappropriate moments. Helldivers 2 community manager Catherine Baskin declared back in April that the game is pretty woke and revealed the game was banning individuals she and the developer Arrowhead Game Studios deemed bigots. Yep. Community managers, man, not even once. Pilestedt's comments reflect a growing sentiment among developers and players who feel that video games should prioritize entertainment and creative storytelling over external messaging, because outside of Catherine, I'm going to ban all of my ideological opponents, Baskin, and other current and former community managers for Arrowhead Studios. Nobody actually wants a prioritization of external messaging over a competent video game. It's never worked. It won't work, because those that you try to appeal to by prioritizing the external messaging, they aren't out there. Okay, you seen Disney try to pander to them in 2024 with The Acolyte. How well did that work out for them? Exactly. How many movies do we need to point to? The American Society of Magical Negroes, a $30 million movie making $2 million at the box office, prioritizing the message over a competent movie. Oopsie daisy, didn't work out that well for you. And how many games do we need to point to that were all about the message not making a mark? Dustborn, Tales of Kenzara Zhao, Unknown 9 Awakening. Everything that Sweet Baby Inc. touched, turning to ash. It never works. The modern audience is a myth, and now that we have such concrete examples over the past how many years, people are starting to wake up. But is it disingenuous? Morning, we are winning. Helldivers CCO Pilestedt says a DEI detracts from games experience and that political messaging does not belong in games. But what is notable here is how legacy gaming media is actually covering this. And now, before, this would never be discussed. It would be ignored, buried. The fact that legacy media is picking up on this means that the Overton window has shifted. We have had an effect in 2024 where the anti-DEI has been heard loud and clear by gaming executives and can no longer be ignored by legacy media. You did this, gamers win. We will continue to push against political propaganda that runs games. We will continue to be heard. Exactly, because now you have the likes of Insider Gamer, Arrowhead Studios, CCO speaks out against forcing DEI into games, and then you got the screenshot of the conversation going back and forth that we've already gone over. And well, the fact that it's a conversation already lets you know that, yeah, this is going to be a selling feature moving forward, because you can see Palworld staying out of the conversation, maintaining a certain level of popularity. Obviously, not getting up to the 2.1 million, but still staying well above the 6-digit marks on regular occasions throughout the rest of the year. But Helldivers having to crawl back several times over to maintain a fraction of the relevance that they achieved upon launch. Stay strict to your ideals and you will be rewarded. You don't have to make a game for everybody. And in fact, whenever you do that, you end up paying the price. If you build it, they will come. But if you build it woke, they will come to laugh at you. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.